All right, we're live here on the Shot Clock. Recap of Lakers getting eliminated by the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. Well, here's the deal. All right, let's jump right into it. You know, I got the stats up here. I just wanted to pull up the stats as well. Let's jump right into it. The Lakers, when they made the trade for Luka at the deadline, and then they started playing well. They played really well during the season right after the trade, which surprised me. Just because anytime you make a huge trade like that and you get, you know, someone who alters your offense to such an extent, and that's what Luka does. You know, you trade Anthony Davis, who was a huge part of your offense, and you bring in Luka Doncic, who alters that offense and changes the entire game plan. Now the offense is running through Luka. LeBron's now the secondary player. As opposed before, LeBron was the first option and Anthony Davis secondary player. So you've completely changed your offense, right? You trade away, obviously, Max Christie, a couple other pieces. So your roster changes. It is very difficult to bring that big of a change in the offense mid-season and have it work seamlessly and then just go through the season and be great. Now, the Lakers did a really good job of that during the regular season. They won 50 games. It didn't seem like it was a huge deal. You know, and obviously they had size issues the whole season as well, but they did a good job during the regular season. But when the warts really show up, when everything really comes out in the wash, so to speak, it's in the playoffs. When you're playing the top defenses and you're playing the top teams and you don't get a chance to play, you know, the whole league anymore. Now these teams get to game plan for you for 7 games. That's when that stuff comes out. And that's why it is so difficult to trade for a player of that caliber midseason and then go on and have, you know, major success in the postseason that year. I always thought it was going to take them till next year to see what the Lakers could really do with LeBron and Luka and whatever pieces they put around them. So everyone picked the Lakers to go far in these playoffs. I thought they'd probably win this round, but I didn't have them going past that. Because I just think it's very difficult to do that. And they actually exceeded expectations, I think, in the regular season. I think you're going to see the best of the Lakers next year when they go put the right pieces around these guys and they get a chance to play in the offseason together and really work together and find out each other. It takes a while to learn someone like that and change your game like LeBron has to do with Luka there and other guys have to do. Luka is an offense into himself. He's not someone you just put in and everyone just works. You know, it doesn't work like that. He's not a rotation player. A role player you could put in and everything could run the same. Can't do that with guys who are high usage players. So that's the first thing on the Lakers. So I don't look at this as like, oh my God, they got a huge upset, huge, you know, major disappointment. No, to me it was always about next year. And the second thing is you're also working with a rookie head coach if you're the Lakers. J.J. Redick, I think, is going to be a tremendous coach, and I think he did a pretty good job this year. Now, he had some issues in the playoffs in this series, but that's going to happen. He's a rookie head coach. He's never coached before. He's never coached higher than his son's, like, AAU team or 6th grade team or whatever it was. I think he maybe coached 3rd grade, whatever he coached. He's never coached a real basketball team before. And now he gets hired to coach the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. And then on top of that, you make a huge trade mid-season, and now he's got to change the entire thing up mid-season. He's a rookie coach. So for anyone to expect that he was going to come in this year and not only coach, you know, be a coach like a veteran with a team like the Lakers, but then you change the entire team mid-season, and then he's got to adjust on the fly with no training camp, and you expect him to then go out there and win a championship? That was always fool's gold to me. That was always a dream that was never going to happen. Now, did Redick have some issues in the playoff series? He did. Last game, when he played the entire starting lineup for the entire second half, made no sense. And he knows that. He admitted it this, you know, in the pregame today, before tonight's game. He knows he made a mistake. Especially you can't do that with LeBron, who's 40, and no bench The bench hadn't really played that much to begin with, so these starters are playing every second of every game in a physical playoff series, and one of your best players is 40. I mean, he knows it made no sense. So we don't have to belabor that point. And he said so before the game. And I think another huge thing, you could play small ball for a period of time. And I think the Lakers, that lineup works for them at times. And I thought it would work better against Minnesota in this series because I thought they might play Gobert off the floor. It didn't work out that way. And I'm sure JJ thought the same thing. But you can't play like that for an entire game, an entire series, every minute. It's too much to ask. The lineup can work for stretches, but when you have no rim protection and you have no rebounding, how long could you do that for? The Lakers couldn't get a rebound to save their lives tonight. Their actually initial defense wasn't horrible. The Lakers aren't a great defensive team to begin with. We know that. With Luka and Austin Reeves on the perimeter, who aren't the best defenders. And LeBron at this point of his career is not as good as he once was, obviously. But their initial defense wasn't horrible. They just couldn't get a rebound. Minnesota's getting second, third, fourth chances. Gobert's dunking put-back dunks like he's Wilt Chamberlain. He had 24 rebounds. So, JJ, I think, made a mistake. And I know they don't have really a lot of good big men on this team. We know that. We know Jackson Hayes isn't the answer. Maxi Kleber, who's been out for basically 6 months, got off his couch and he played tonight. He hasn't practiced. He hasn't played. We know those guys aren't the answer. But Jackson Hayes has been your starting center for most of the regular season in the second half. And to just kind of bury him in this series, I thought that was a mistake. Because even if he's not the answer, he gives you a different look. And at least when you're getting just destroyed on the boards, especially tonight, he at least provides you some resistance to that. And I think they should have at least gone to him and given him a shot. I thought that was a big mistake as well. So did JJ have a good series? He did not. But do I think he's going to be a really good coach in this league for a long time? I do. And he said after the game, if you saw him, he said, we're going to get better, and I'm going to get better. I'm going to do everything I can to get better, and I will. That's what he said. And I believe him. Because if anything, if you know anything about him as a player, his work ethic was something that everyone revered. The amount of shots he took after games and practice and all this stuff. He got the work he put into his game. He's a basketball junkie. He lives and breathes basketball. You saw it on his podcast. You saw it when he was on First Take. You saw it in his whole career. He's going to do the same thing as a coach. And when you do that, and he's a smart guy, which he is, he's going to be a great coach. But these things don't come overnight. You don't wake up and you're the coach of the Lakers and then you're a great coach and win a championship. This is not realistic. There's struggles, there's trials and tribulations and lessons you have to learn. And I think this playoff series was very good for him to learn those lessons. And it will help him for next year. Because Minnesota's a good basketball team. You know, they're not a bunch of scrubs. You know, you're not playing like the Atlanta Hawks in the first round. The Timberwolves, I know they made a big trade, obviously, and traded Towns. But they were in the Western Conference Finals last year. They have one of the best young players in the game. And the guys they got from the Knicks, Julius Randle's an all-star level player. Dante DiVincenzo is a terrific rotation player. And those guys were in the game 7 of the second round last year. They have so much playoff experience. They're well coached. They have a good team, and they're not afraid. So for the Lakers in their first playoff series with Luka and LeBron and a rookie coach and not many no bench really, and no big men to speak of that are any good. I don't know what anyone expected to happen in these playoffs. And everyone obviously, everyone, we saw it all. Everyone picked the Lakers to win this series. Everyone. Everyone in the media, everyone picked the Lakers. And they were thoroughly outplayed in this series. And Minnesota, we talked about with the Lakers how it takes time to gel. It takes time to get your team together, especially when you make a major trade like that. Well, Minnesota did the same thing preseason. They got Randall and DiVincenzo, two key players, and Julius is their second scoring option. They got him the day before training camp. So that takes time to gel, and it took them 3/4 of the season almost to start playing like they're capable of playing. Maybe more. And now finally you're seeing them at the end of the season, the playoffs, start to find some of the cohesion and what they can be. Well, the Lakers aren't there yet. They made their trade mid-season with no training camp. So to think that they were going to be playing at the highest level in the playoffs less than a half a season after was unrealistic, in my opinion. Excuse me. So now you look at it going forward. Minnesota's got a great chance to get to the conference finals again. I don't think anyone's beating OKC in the West. I said this for a while. I think OKC's going to the finals. I don't think anyone's going to stop them. But the West ain't easy. They're going to play Denver, the Clippers, who are two very dangerous teams. It's going to be a dogfight there. And then they're going to have to play probably Minnesota or Golden State. That ain't easy either. But Minnesota's got a chance to go back to the conference finals. They got as good a chance as anyone. They're a heck of a team. And Ant-Man is a dog. And he didn't have a good game tonight. A terrible shooting game. He played well in other areas of the game, but he's a dog. And he ain't afraid. And the Lakers, is next year going to be LeBron's last year is a big question. I think the end is coming soon, whether it's next year or the year after. I think it could be next year. I think he's definitely going to play next year. He's going to want a full year with Luka, give that his best, let the Lakers make the moves around the edges this offseason, get some big men in there, and give your best shot. With a full training camp, with those guys playing together, I think that's what he's going to do. But it's tough at 40 years old to go through a full season and be fresh enough to still play at the highest level in the postseason. And you saw it in this series. He just ran out of gas in these last two games. Now, did JJ play a role in that by playing in the entire second half of Game 4? He might have. Maybe LeBron just had nothing left in that game and he had nothing left for today. Possible. But you're also seeing him. He just looks like he's out of gas in these second halves of these games. And in last year's playoffs too, you saw a little bit of that. There's only so long you could do it. Charles Barkley always said, two things are undefeated: Las Vegas casinos and Father Time. Can't beat it. Can't beat Father Time. At some point, LeBron's not going to be able to play 40, 45 minutes every night. Play 40 again tonight, as you see here. Played 40 minutes again tonight. 9 of 21, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Is that a bad game? No. For a mere mortal, that's a pretty good game. For LeBron James, it's not a great game. And he knows that. And if you ever heard him talk, the only way he's going to continue playing is for him to play at the highest level that he knows he's capable of playing at. And I still think he's capable of that in stretches. But to ask him to do what they asked him to do in this playoffs, it's just, at 40 years old, it's just not doable for anyone, even someone like him. So I think he plays next year. I think it'll be his last. That's my prediction. I think next year's his last year. He's going to get a full year with Luka. They're going to work together in the offseason, training camp, the whole thing. They're going to go get a center. They're going to get a couple big men, a couple other pieces, move them in and out. Figure out what to do with Austin Reeves. Are they going to keep Austin Reeves and keep him as their third scorer? They're going to try to switch that out for some defensive help and someone who can score but play defense. That's a question mark. But I think they're going to make some moves in the offseason. They're going to get that team the way it needs to be constructed. JJ's going to have his second year. He's going to have a year under his belt, lessons learned. And I think you'll see the best of the Lakers next year. And I think it'll be LeBron's last year. But tonight, and in this series, JJ didn't have a good series. Luka didn't have a great series. At times he showed you flashes, but he didn't have a great series. Austin Reeves had a really bad series. And LeBron gave you what he could at that age. With the help that they have. They don't have a deep enough bench. They need to get bench players, and they need to get big men. That's what they need in this offseason. But all these people thought the Lakers were going to the finals. I never understood that part of it. I thought they could win this round, but I thought that was going to be where it was at. That was it. They just didn't get enough time to play together this year, and they had a rookie coach. Luka was on the team for half the season, less, with a rookie coach. It didn't make sense with the way the West is, with how difficult it is. Think about how difficult the West is. The Wolves were a 6 seed. They could have been a 2 seed. The Warriors are a 7 seed. They could have been a 2 or 3 seed. The Grizzlies were the 8 seed. They could have been, at one point, they were 3 or 4 seed during the year. And obviously, they got blown out by OKC, but Ja got hurt. If Ja doesn't get hurt, they probably win a game or two. This West is a bear. And the Lakers were going to have to play a very good Minnesota team, then a very good Golden State team, and then an excellent OKC team. They were never beating all 3 of those teams with their bench and their size at front, with a rookie coach. And last thing I would say, think about JJ. Everyone wants to bury JJ after one season. We always like to do that. We want to bury someone after his rookie season or 1 year or whatever. Well, think about this. Joe Mazzulla, after his first year coaching the Celtics, and they wanted to run his ass out of town. They hated him so much. And he lost that finals. He got exposed. He didn't have a good playoffs. He didn't have a good finals. They wanted to run him out of Boston. Then what happened? He learned. He came back the next year, and they won the title. And now he's revered as one of the top coaches in basketball. Did he become a good coach overnight? No. He got experience. You can't manufacture experience in anything you do. You could have talent. You could be a great player. You could, all these things. Experience cannot be taught. It cannot be taught. You get that with time, with playoffs, with regular season. You get that. Mazzulla got it after that first year. He learned a lot. He came back and he was better. And JJ's going to do the same thing. So everyone wants to run JJ out of LA. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because if you think he was a bad coach this year, then you weren't looking at the same team. He's got things to learn. He's got things that he might want to do different personality-wise too. He's very hard on his team. I think some of that, you take it, keep some of that, ease up the rope a little bit. He'll learn. But to run someone out of town after a year, we expect things too quickly from people all the time. Instead of allowing them to grow, seeing the talent, letting them grow, and letting them get the experience and make mistakes and get better from them. And JJ's going to do that, and the Lakers are going to have a much better season next year when they have a full year and a full training camp with all their guys, with Luka and with LeBron. So that's it. for the shot clock. Lakers eliminated from the postseason. They lose this one to Minnesota. 103-96 in Game 5. They get the gentleman's sweep, and Minnesota heads to the second round, and they'll face either Golden State or Houston. We'll be back tomorrow night. Stay tuned. Check us out tomorrow night. We'll be back here live on YouTube for the Knicks-Pistons post-game recap. Whenever that game ends, we'll be on right after that game. So come on here live on YouTube for Knicks-Pistons recap tomorrow night. Shock.